And again, we're on time. Granted, Kyle is still playing his outro because he's a Kyle, but don't worry about it. It's
Which
fine.
one of these is it? There it is.
Again, we're on time.
I've got so many. I switched to the intro, the outro, mine, and then yours, the RPs, and then this one. I was like, where is it? I have a scroll bar now for all the different windows we have. It used to just be one. Now it's like 8.
Just program all of it into a stream jack. Just press a button. It's fine.
I gotta set up I actually gotta set up my stream deck to actually have those tabs in there for ArchCast and ArchRP.
Yeah, I can just switch between them. It'd be great. There's even the possible hope that I might be able to stream for myself soon. Again, I know I've been saying that for 5 years, but we finally might get a satellite connection that's worthwhile. Even then, I doubt I'll get more than 1 meg up. So, it'll work for this, but no game streams, that's for bloody sure. Right then. Hello, people. First and foremost, hit the like button. It's your friend. And I need to say this now, because Kyle has a point, some lazy little bastards. Only some of them press the like button. It is your sacred duty to hurt it. Yes, that is how things work in this universe of ours.
You want to help Arch for free, viewing his content is already a lot. Then if you want to go the extra step, press the like button.
Or like button is a good thing.
Anybody.
See, the like button used to do nothing, but they decided to change that after about 10 years or so. Now, we do have a fair few topics today. We'll briefly touch upon the whole E3 thing, but frankly, I view E3 as a complete and utter irrelevancy right now. It's nothing more than a corporate PR event, which fat, dirty, little traitorous bastards like Dev hang on to. Yes, Dev, the villain of the story.
We could have done an RP today. Dev not betrayed us all.
That's true. Well, we'll touch upon it a little bit. But it's even the big reveals. Battlefield was. This speaks volumes about how useless E3 is now. The next big Battlefield game was announced before E3. And Bethesda's grand reveal is that Starfield might be coming out November next year.
Yep.
Oh, it's awful. But we start out with good news today. Happy news. Ding dong, the witch is goddamn dead. Eternal Crusade has finally shuffled off this mortal coil and is on its way to be Satan's personal little sex puppet. And by God, it is well and truly deserved. That awful little thing. A crime against any and all standards of decency, which I supported with I don't even know how many hundreds of bucks, is nothing more than a colossal monument to lies and falsehood. And yet it was still allowed to cling on to odious, perfidious life for 5 years.
Let me read what you actually wrote, you lying little weasel. This may possibly become a good game in the future, but at the moment, it's not worth the asking price. That's what you said about it. Little liar. September 24th, 2016, 10:35 p.m. After 10 hours and 10.3 hours of game time. Arch wrote a review. Rarely does he write reviews, by the way.
It was fucking dreadful. And the thing is, too, back then, I was still blue-eyed. Early on in my YouTube career as well, when I actually thought that when people came into gaming forums and said, I just want diversity, I actually entertained the little cocksuckers. But no, Eternal Crusade was nothing but a bold-faced lie. Remind you as well that the original idea was for a planet-style or Planet Side style 40k game. And then they released it as a movie. Oh, no, we're putting it in. This is just temporary release. We're putting it eventually. God, little stinky ass mongrels.
You know, a game that actually did succeed in doing the whole like temporary battlefield thing, and then eventually got the grand scale battlefield? Foxhole. That's the only game I think that's done it. Because originally it started off like, we're gonna do that. That's what they said. And they started with little tiny combat maps, and now it's a big giant open world. So they managed to do it. It's not impossible.
But they didn't, Kyle. They didn't. They didn't. They betrayed, Kyle. Betrayed.
Now, how much money did you give them? Because I think I gave them 300 USD, and then I know I had a bajillion rogue trader points because I got a ton of people into it. And I was like, why did I do that?
I don't actually know. Like, I know they had, like, several of those ludicrously overpriced packages, which are standard for games these days, which is awful in and of itself. And I gave them, like, a couple $100, I think, at least. I think I bought one of their most expensive packages. And I, too, had, like, a load of those rogue trader points, which I don't even know if they ever got around to actually making anything that used rogue trader points.
They do. The cosmetics and stuff are unlocked with them and other upgrades.
That's disgusting. Oh, such a lie.
I know, because we tried playing it not that long ago. We did a community event in it. It was so bad that we, I think it was the shortest community event, then we all reinstalled Space Marine instead. We were going to do it as a meme, but it was so unplayable and so awful that we actually stopped playing it.
Dreadful game. Like, genuinely dreadful. Like, the action is slow, boring, uninteresting, and yet also at the same time way too quick.
Yeah, no, the game's horrible.
Absurd.
The design's awful, and the people that defend it are often they're what I call the bottom tier fans of a fandom. They defend it because it has, it Warhammer paint, therefore it's good. Like, no. No.
The only person I know that genuinely did try to defend it was a certain
Valrak.
a certain plagiarizing transphobe.
Yeah. Chapter Master Valrak is a corporate fucking whore. And this fucking fat little piece of shit is like, guys, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I recommend it. Chapter Master Valrak says, I quote, "The love and hate is plenty for Eternal Crusade. And on YouTube, you will see my regular reviews of the state of the game." He doesn't do that anymore. They didn't even update that. They actually put him and quoted him in the top. New additions, class and game, and guides from me. Well, Valrak, how is that series going? In fact, I don't think it's going anymore. It's gonna be, you're gonna have to make those videos fast. Time's running out.
It is a sad game, and it was only allowed to live for as long as it did because there was, I don't know, like I don't even know. Like, it should have been dead on arrival. It was dead on arrival. Like, it didn't break 300 concurrent players for years. And yet still, it somehow managed to drag its disgusting, putrid corpse along. Well, it is dead now. It deserves to be dead now. And never again, I pray, shall we see its awful like desecrate the 41st millennium. Right.
Next. Which one's next?
That was today's good news. Let's continue on in a slightly more light-hearted fashion, because we do have at least one hateful little thing today. Some good old-fashioned cringe. Some good old-fashioned cringe, Kyle. Have you prepared your spine, Kyle?
Ooh, corporate pride.
Yes.
What about the Saudi Arabian branch? Do they have pride too?
No, weirdly enough, none of the companies have changed their logo in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, God. See, I have family that works at Microsoft's headquarters, and I've been there. And, like, they have really good food court, by the way. But the other one thing I want to say, I know it's random, but the one thing I want to say is, you know what's funny is I remember going there, and all I saw was like old people, mostly old white people, because like they're old programmers and stuff. I didn't see like young hip kids working there. So I imagine these people don't actually work at like the head building. They're just like the back. Oh god, they have the pronouns in their oh god,
Of course they do.
oh no.
Like,
It's
scroll down a little bit to the big picture where you've got a bunch of them LARPing in retarded costumes.
like my culture. Your culture's
They
cringe.
probably scoured the entirety of Microsoft to find a handful of these little things and just place them on their thing. It's like, look, we're very inclusive. And what have you got here? Like, okay, I want to just point out, Pride is nothing more than a corporatist culture at this point. It's to sell you shit. Microsoft, a bloody software developer, has this. Go up to the area where they've got their profiles and look at the Candy, the big one. As a queer, indigenous, non-binary, two-spirit warrior queen, I embrace Lakota culture.
Lakota. Oh no, the poor tribe.
The poor tribe. Imagine the Lakota Indians of 200 years ago looking at this, just as a single tear rolls down their cheek.
They're like, damn, the Whitey did
My
win.
people.
Whitey did.
Whitey did win.
That was goddamn beautiful.
That's a brilliant quote right there.
Right as the tear drops, you know.
The whites, they did win.
Oh no. Could have fought harder.
It'd be like that commercial with the Indian tear and they talk about pollution. Like, first they killed my people, then they did far worse.
They made them fucking retarded. Oh no. That's hilarious. A warrior queen. Okay. Like, warrior queen of what? You're the queen of the Lakota people? Is that what she's insinuating?
Well, she has two spirits, so there's two of her. So I'm assuming the one is the queen, the other is the warrior, I guess.
Go to your chieftain and tell him that your spirit is the chieftain and he needs to step aside for your spirit.
Yep.
I doubt the tribal chieftain will be like, yes. I'm pretty sure he'll be like, get up.
Who knows, Kyle? Who knows? Maybe he is just as corrupted as the rest of them.
He's been supplanted. You know, that's actually kind of sad, though. Because the sad reality is most of those tribes' cultures, like, they're going to be right out of existence.
Like, we already crushed their nations. We already drove their warriors before us and put them into tiny little reservations where most of them died under horrible, inhumane conditions. And now we do this to them. Like, good God. I'm starting to believe that Whitey might just be evil, Kyle. I think we might just be evil.
Now we're making a mockery of them.
Like, this is corpse desecration right here. Like, they're already dead. They're not fighting back anymore.
They're embracing westernization, but to the cringest degree.
It's like a hentai show where you rape someone so good they start liking it.
That's one hell of an analogy.
Literal nationalistic mind break hentai.
Look, whatever gets your rocks off, like, you do you.
Next tier NTR right here. Next bloody level.
I mean, if you're into it, knock yourself out. Just don't share it with me. I don't share my stuff publicly. You don't share yours?
You do. You commission hentai of yourself, you lying scum.
What are you talking about? They make that for free. The only one I commissioned was of you and me.
See, he admitted it.
He's like, that's weird.
And of course, it's all political. Like, this has nothing. Like, gay is no longer a sexuality, it seems. It's a political statement now. Like, the top here. Queer rights are human rights. All right. Black Trans Lives Matter. Okay, BLM. Stop Asian hate. Like, who's hating on the Asian people? All right, that's BLM. Oh, whoopsie. It's all politicized now. I mean, the two-spirited warrior queen is just the top of the dumbass ice cream here. You have bloody BLM with the pride swastika. The damned flag has so many colors now, it doesn't even look like a flag anymore. It looks like a retarded toddler threw up on a paint palette.
Pretty much. Honestly, the best part about that is of my audience, I did ask them when we hang out in Discord server. I asked them, like, what are your thoughts on, like, the LGBT thing? Because I was just curious. And, like, I hate it. Because it's like, they're trying to group us up so they can use us for political gains. And corporations love that shit because they fucking monetize the ever-living shit out of them. And that's true. It's sickening and disgusting. The more they try to be quote-unquote inclusive, the more they actually end up just using them as some sort of, like, tool. As if they're not even human. It's actually disgusting when you actually think about it.
That's the thing. Every gay person I've ever spoken to has reacted with nothing but cringe to Pride Month. Because it's... Most of them just be like, I just want to be left alone. Like, I'm gay. So what? Like, that's it. I do not want to be paraded through the goddamn streets.
Yes. Being gay does not make them who they are. I forget how he worded it last, but, like, just because I'm gay doesn't make me... Like, that's not who defines me. I'm more complex than just my sexuality.
No, Kyle. You don't understand. We need to try and put people in as smaller boxes as possible. This is the future, Kyle. Get in the box. Get in the box labeled Two-Spirit Warrior Queen.
I'm a warrior queen. Honestly, my spirit is basically God, and so therefore you all owe me $5 there.
I have multiple spirit animals personally. Most of them are morbidly overweight.
Whatever
but hey, that's
requires
detail.
people to donate and worship me is my spirit. Yes.
Actually, you know, here, Kyle. I believe this is my identity right now. This is what I'm going to sexually identify as here. Okay.
When fucking Barch came back to Twitter, this is the first thing he posted. And I remember all the people just going like, they were so mad. It was
I sexually identify as the King of Gondor. Prove me wrong.
I mean, if you're gonna be king of a fantasy nation, Gondor's a pretty fucking awesome kingdom.
See, it's a good middle of the road thing. Because I'm not going to declare myself like King of Numenor, and that's a little bit too far. You know, I have a humbleness in my heart.
You're like, I want a challenge. I'll play Gondor because I know it's not the easy road.
Yes, precisely. And it's all this. God, I hate the corporatization of it. I really do. It's so bloody blatant. I went through a whole list of this with all of the various corporations, and I do love. On Norwegian News, we had a while ago a special report of how difficult it was, even today, to come out as homosexual. And there's a special goddamn government grant for this. Parades are thrown in your honor for this. Like, just stop. What we need to do, Kyle, here, show this one off here. This is the perfect example.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter. That was fucking beautiful.
It's great, isn't it?
Skynet. Nice.
Skynet.
SCP Foundation. Umbrella Corporation. Yes, the Umbrella Corporation.
Wayland-Yutani. Building better worlds.
Union Aerospace. That's the Doom Corporation, isn't it?
I think so.
UAC. Yeah, I think so. Mishima's. Aperture Laboratories. Black Mesa. That one's good.
I need LexCorp. Fucking LexCorp. It's amazing. Like, this is how it is. Like, you plaster the colors on and suddenly it's okay.
The best corporation of all of them, though, is InGen from Jurassic Park because genetics modification.
We make the future.
It's perfect.
I can see it. I can absolutely see the two-spirited warrior queen on just an in-gen poster right there. You just slap that up in the corner like, we make the future. Yes. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, with enough funny out of the way, let's do some super chats, and then we'll get to the opposite side of this particular nightmare, shall we? Because where there is light, there is also darkness, Kyle. There is always, always more darkness.
Can't have light without dark.
You can't. Let's see here, YouTube. Tanishnev for 200 Swedish fake kroners. Arch, two questions. One, with Humankind going into closed beta soon, will you make a new updated vid on it? And two, have you looked into AOS lore recently? Not perfect, but have to say recent lore is actually really good. I am interested in Humankind, so I might do another look on that. We'll see. It's most of the game will be available then, so it's probably a good idea. Age of Sigma, no, I haven't looked into it at all. Like, I just don't care. I would rather spend that time looking into Starship Troopers or almost anything else. Though if they're making it better, well, that is good, and I hope you are right. Though I remember a certain lying, weaselly son of a cockroach telling me that Eternal Crusade was better a while ago, too.
Oh my god, that was fucking great. Listen, okay? Bubbles and I were like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we told Arch Eternal Crusade got good? And so like, okay. And so I was like, hey Arch, it got better. And he's playing it with us, right? And he's like, he doesn't feel any better. It was quite funny. We got him to play it one last time. That was the last time he ever touched it, too. It was quite good. That was during winter, if I'm right, December. Holiday season.
Holiday season. One of the many reasons you'll be put up against the wall and bloody shot.
Oh, he got to play it a little bit more. You liked it. You liked playing it for an additional hour. When you wrote your original review, that was when you were like, I'm not going to touch it again until it's done. And then the next hour, if you read Arch's review, because it says he had an extra hour on it, I'm pretty sure that was because that was when we tricked him into playing it again.
It was quite unforgivable. I do have a couple from last week too, which I think came in after the stream was over, so blame yourself. But I'll read them now. Glowing, totally like a woman, Disco votes for something that denies it's her fault for voting that way. When will you understand that your decisions have consequences? We're attacking Disco right off the bat. Good, good. I have been told that she was very violent to a guest on Kyle's stream earlier. Yes, attacked him savagely. She did.
I have no comment. I will just say this. Alcohol was involved and everybody was behaving out of character.
All I know is I was told by Kyle specifically that Disco was very mean to him. Yes.
That is also a falsehood. Also known as a lie.
Incorrect. Disco, get him.
He's just hoping to divide. He's trying to divide and conquer, Disco. You're smarter than this. You're smart.
Dragonis Wolflord says, I mean, it's really amusing since they decided to fight the huge monster instead of convincing it. Party wipe incoming. Gibbs chose to follow the guard, who's only a puppet and doesn't give him any help, instead of the sorcerer, who throws gold at him. That's a good point. That's a good point, Kyle. Kyle, why are you responsible for the death of the party in the RP?
What? Oh, God.
You killed the party, Kyle.
People like to backseat game a lot, and so I get a lot of people who fucking join my Discord server for one purpose, being, you should do this in the RP. I'm like, I let the party have the decision, and that's what we're going with. If that kills us all, that's fine. I don't really care, because it's just a game, and we can just make new characters. Who cares? We die, big deal. We just keep playing. We roll new characters, and we go again.
Kyle literally rejects all responsibility.
Right click, disband you.
A Dark Innovator. Hail, Lord ArchChrist, as your faithful servant, and given you are going back to fantasy, would you ever do a read and reaction on the Archon duology? I would love your opinions and analysis on the characters and events. Well, never say never, but the Horus Heresy breakdown is still a long way in the going. I've still got like 30 books, so maybe.
Not over yet.
Cesario, hey Arch, did you see the guys who made Medieval Dynasty is making a Wild West version? We'll be doing a quick review of that game. Also, hello Kibbs, and I hope you are both doing good today.
We're doing pretty good. How about you?
Maybe, but
maybe.
I mean, they're not sure. They're not done with Medieval Dynasty yet, so I'm not entirely happy with the idea that they're starting another similar project. Because, all right, now you're doing twice the work with half the crew. Like, this seems silly.
I mean, it depends. Like, is the work done and there's just like cleanup work before the other stuff is finished, and the other guys are going off to start the next project? Because I can understand the logic behind that. Or is it not that case?
I'm pretty sure Medieval Dynasty is not done. Yeah, it's still in early access, so.
Yeah, starting another project is a little bit suspicious, especially if you're a tiny studio. Because, like, I can't imagine starting another project unless I need to give more work to a concept artist and they're out of work. I don't want to fire them, so I just put them on project number 2. But we're not even remotely there.
Yeah. Medieval Dynasty is an interesting idea. It's like a single-player building survival thing, which is cool and all, but I don't think it's a good idea for them to start a different version whilst they're still working on that. That's maybe not a great idea. San Diego, she could have fucking used a more traditional name and not fucking Candy. That's another good point. Just meet a Lakota chieftain from the early settlement days and says, not only will we kill you, not only will we take your land and enslave your people, we will make your children's name be Candy. That'll make them fight all the harder, at least. It's like, God goes back to tribe, I am sorry, friends. We are going to have to fight to the death. Surrender is too horrible to contemplate.
I like that.
Morgan McConnell, let chaos eat its soul. I think chaos tried. Specifically, it failed. They are more powerful than the chaos gods now.
Okay.
Maleficus Shaikan. Eternal Crusade Eldar was fun, pity it failed. No, it was not a pity. It was a deserved euthanization, is what it was.
Yeah, they never could do it to begin with. Like, that studio is remarkably incompetent. What are they, Behavior Interactive? Let's get the right name. So don't diss the wrong company. Hold on. Eternal Crusade is made by... Let's go PC, or Steam, load. Oh wait, did they pull it from the Steam store? No, it's still there.
It's still there for a little while longer.
Behavior Interactive Incorporated. Yeah. And let's see what they're known for again. Dead by Daylight. Ugh. I wonder why they're cancer. I wonder why it's trade. So you're telling me they have all these projects? Okay, that's the only thing they have that actually made them money. That's like their only thing they have.
Yeah. Pretty much. They didn't have much of a track record before, and they don't have much of a track record now.
We made a shitty little multiplayer horror game. Okay.
And PBR Street Gang. They are just angry people because no one wants to sleep with them. I mean, possibly. Conceivably. Now, a little bout of super chats later, and I want to... See, again, I want to do these mostly about entertainment, random stuff, but sometimes you gotta point out some of the stuff that's going on in the rest of horribleness as well. And this, I mean, good God, this is the exact example of why we got to gatekeep our hobbies, why we have to fight against these people. Because they are now, I swear to God, we are at the point now where the bloody Nazis were when they were starting to seize goddamn power. We are at the point that in 50 years, historians will look back at shit like this and ask themselves, how did they not see this coming? It's obvious.
Yep.
So this is an actual doctor, a supposed professor, which released a research paper describing whiteness as a malignant parasitic-like condition for which, quote, there is no cure. Like, holy shit. We are so deep into Final Solution territory now, you'd think it'd be a parody of some sort.
What's weird about this picture is, okay, there's a couple white people, but there's also a fair few Asians as well.
Well, that's the thing, Kyle. Whiteness no longer refer to your skin color. Whiteness is a disease now, and it can affect black people too, brown people, Asians. Everyone can be white now, Kyle.
See, it was only a matter of time they did that. As soon as enough people that weren't white weren't going along with it, and like, well, you're just white on the inside. It's like, much great. Well, this is dumb.
Oh God, yes. There's let's see here. There we go. Here's one. Quote, even Trump's black supporters are white supremacists, says the media. That is where we are now.
We must maintain the narrative at all costs. Double down.
Like, it's crazy. And the worst part is, too, I've seen a little bit on this bumping around Twitter as well, where they're arguing against it. They're saying, oh, it's just us scientists. How do you know this will lead to anything? Surely this won't take a root or anything. It's fine. How can you assume things? Every time throughout human history, we have seen the pattern of dehumanization, and we know where it leads. When you start pointing your opposition, be it political, spiritual, or whatever, as subhuman, as malignant parasites, what happens next? What bloody happens next after that?
Not a lot of good stuff. Honestly, this is the kind of rhetoric that you should always be wary of, because this is the kind of stuff that leads into, like, oh, it's okay to smash their windows. Oh, it's okay to round them up. It's a very slippery
Absolutely.
slope.
It needs to be condemned. Like, this is not a good thing. And it's stupid that you have to explain this. It was bad when the Nazis did it to the Jews, and surprise, surprise, it is indeed bad when the modern-day communists try to do it to everyone who isn't one. It's depressing shit, but it's also the kind of stuff you have to bring up to actually exemplify just how far along we are at this point. This should scare people, and people need to be a little bit scared when they see stuff like this, and they need to be willing to argue against it and be loud about it. Now, luckily, this is the kind of rhetoric that is a little stiff even by modern-day standards, so it did receive a lot of pushback. But the very fact that this was released at all, how?
Yeah. I don't know. And that's the sad thing. People, well, but that's also a good thing. It means people can say whatever they want, even if it's stupid. And they're allowed to say what they want, even if it is crazy, and we could just make fun of them for it. But the only concern is if they start calling for violent things. It's bad enough that they do those kinds of things, but at the same time, they should be allowed to say their mind, regardless of how retarded they sound.
They should, but at the same time, we also, you might remember the school teacher.
We fall down their slope.
Oh, that's the thing, like, censorship is not a one-way route anymore, I think.
No, it's a
because
horseshoe.
as we see now, it's... Here's another one, right? To keep building on this little point here. A little while ago, Israel and Palestine engaged in the usual. And that created a whole mess, a shitstorm back and forth, because that is one divisive ass topic. And one AP journalist was fired for making a bunch of pro Palestine tweets. Alright. I'm not interested in taking any side in that conflict. I think both have plenty of guilt to be shared. But then, suddenly, all the little journalists are out in force, whinging, censorship is bad. Censorship is bad. We need to take steps to stop censorship. Really, journalists? Bloody really? And it's because it happened to them, Kyle. Like, these people will only react to something if the hammer literally hits them on the head. Only then will they think, maybe I shouldn't hit people over the head with hammers.
That's true, but I won't change for them. Regardless, I do think they should be able to speak, even if they're stupid or retarded.
I say we dig a hole, Kyle, and I say we put them inside of it.
No, Blondie doesn't think that. He's just being emotional. Not thinking
we
clearly.
Put them inside the hole.
Not thinking clearly.
We put them inside the hole, and then we build latrines over them.
Arch is just a little grumpy. It's okay to vent. Verbally.
Latrines, Kyle.
Vent verbally.
Latrines.
And that's why it's fine to vent verbally. It's good. It's healthy. Fuck.
But Kyle, we need somewhere to urinate.
Yeah, I have a toilet for that. I'm not going outside for that. You're making me do workouts for this. So it's like, go outside to these fucking mass burial sites. It's like, fuck you.
Burial? You're not gonna kill him, Kyle, you monster. Jesus.
Oh my god. They might as well be dead if they're fucking underground. They might as well.
We'll leave them air holes. It's for ritual humiliation purposes, Kyle, not murder. Jesus, you monster.
Now I'm the monster.
You're the monster. How swiftly the tables turn.
People should be treated equally. Arch like, bury them. We will bury them. You gone for the Soviet
Kyle's
Union?
like, well, might as well kill him too. Like, come on, Jesus.
At this point, it's just a mercy.
Kyle truly is the worst of all of us.
It's all about being humane.
Humane.
See, you laud the high horse, but meanwhile, I'm on a mountain. I'm safe up here. Hard to breathe, but safe.
I condemn Kyle's actions. All of them. Universally. But yeah, I wanted to bring this up because it is goddamn awful. It needs to be pointed out a little bit. It absolutely does. You know what else is absolutely awful, Kyle? You know what else is horrible, Kyle? You know what else is terrible, Kyle?
What? Is it that blonde man you look at when every time you see the mirror? He's like, damn.
No, he's a good guy.
He just misunderstood.
Well, we do have. Let's touch a little bit upon the whole E3 thing, shall we? Because there's been a little bit of stuff around that, and also some stuff on the outsides of E3. You remember a while ago when what was it? Which company was it? It was like, give us all of your data, we'll protect it, trust me. Well, there's been a recent massive spate of hacking, including, of course, EA, which had almost all of the source code for FIFA and Frostbite stolen from them.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Like,
Yeah,
they can't even protect their own shit.
I don't care about them. Those games are not very.
They're not. But they don't even have the cybersecurity to protect their own stuff. Never mind our data.
They may have cybersecurity, but the things with those hackers is they're pretty fucking good. Like they crack it open. That's like remember when they when they talked about cells and like cell phones, like it'll never be cracked. Next week somebody cracked it because the challenge. And on top of that, there's money to be had in getting this information.
There is money. I mean, if they did actually manage to steal most of the source code for Frostbite, that's a big old scooperoonie right there.
That is pretty bad because you can sort of dissect it and then you can understand how it functions and works. But at the same time, Frostbite's really old now.
That's true.
And the question also remains is, okay, how much of it, and specifically, what about it? Because engines are big things. Did they get all of it? And what version did they get? Is that an older version, or is it the newest one?
I'm sure. There was also, it came out that the cybersecurity breach of CD Projekt Red was much bigger than they originally said as well. Apparently, they stole quite a lot of stuff, including a lot of personal internal information as well. This is why you should never trust these companies with your data if you have any way of avoiding it, because they're bad at keeping it.
Yep.
Very bad.
Well, simply put, anything you type into a computer is at risk.
And Bethesda wants to have their own launchers up and running too. There's been some rumors around that. You saw the Starfield, to be released in November 2022. That was their grand reveal at E3, a release date for a game we still know nothing about.
That's not even the best part about E3. I believe Square Enix did was it Square Enix chat? Which one has their fucking thing was so bad that they have set their Twitter account to protect it. Like, one of these companies dropped the ball so bad, people are so mad that they're now they set their fucking Twitter to protect it because they're scared. They're like, no, don't make fun of us.
That is impressive. That is very impressive. What did they do?
I don't know. I only caught a little bit of that because I was overhearing a conversation about it, and then I actually came over here because I was eating my noodles.
Lazy Kyle. I'm playing that too. Like, I look into the links channel and I just see myself. You are not pulling your weight, Kyle.
I have stuff.
You,
I just didn't post it because I was at a wedding.
You're being a
here.
fat little drag, aren't you?
No, I do have some stuff. So there's other news from E3 as well, because Kibbs did do research, and he doesn't need to always post links because he's got a brain. Halo will be launching holiday season, the new Halo Infinite. Honestly, I'm not particularly excited. Mostly because, I don't know. The gameplay for the new Halo is actually much better than the old ones, the ones that you played. But the problem is the story is now, like, the story always had plot holes and was stupid, but now it's just retarded. And the new Cortana model looks like she's wearing like a full clothed outfit thing. And it's like, dude, Cortana never wore that stuff. Like, Cortana doesn't wear anything. It's just a fucking hologram. You remember, because you played the older Halos. Like, she's just sort of like naked. And that's just kind of how it is. But now they're changing that. So I wonder if that's for some weird artistic reason, or it's like a different version or something like that. But yeah, that comes holiday. Another game that we learned about that comes October, which Arch will be covering because we talked about this briefly, is the new Age of Empires 4 that comes this October as well. So that's the two bits of information I was able to glean out of E3 that's actually of any valuable. Or any value.
It's gonna be all. And it's gonna be your fault. Now, but E3 is just, it's a waste of bloody time now. Like, even the corporations view it as a waste of time now. Like, EA made their big announcement before the show. It's lost all significance, and it's because why would you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably, to ship tons of computers, to ship personnel, to rent out the space at E3, which costs loads, mind you, to get all of the energy set up, the electrical outlets, etc. All of that shit to announce your game to a room full of, what, goddamn journalists? Like, they beg for access to your news anyways. They're nothing more than regurgitating mouthpieces anymore. What is the point of E3? Particularly now that it's all digital, why would you want to announce your big new game alongside everybody else's news? Why would you overshadow your own game like that?
I do not know. It's silly. I mean, hold on. EA is the same company. Are you familiar with the Titanfall 2 release?
No.
So, when Titanfall 2 was being developed and was going to be planned to be released, they put the release date somewhere, I think, in between the release of Battlefield 5, or was it Battlefield 5 at the time? Maybe it was Battlefield 1. I don't remember. One of the new Battlefield games of the time and one of the new Call of Duty games. And so it had to compete with two other much larger shooter games. And the game...
That's brilliant.
did about actually the game did for being released in such an awful thing. It didn't do as poorly as I would have expected. That's because it kind of had a little bit of a core audience already, but it absolutely screwed over the launch. And they do that kind of stuff. And I don't know why the reason is, because sometimes that stuff's internal politics. Like if you're familiar with the what's it called, Treasure Planet movie, and how that was released, and that was all internal politics of the company, other aspects trying to sabotage the 2D branch of the Disney so that the CGI branch could get more funding. So it could have been related to that. So it's always hard to tell because like we can only see the outside, we can't see the internal bits of what's going on under the hood and who's pissing and who's cornflakes. Because generally in those big places, not everybody is kumbaya, and in fact, it's kind of the opposite. There's different heads or people that have different ideas and want to push the studio in different directions. But you kind of have to just like assume that it's kind of a little bit of a shitstorm deep down under. So who knows? Maybe somebody pissed off the Battlefield guy and is like, you know what, 2042, you're gonna get fucked. Also,
Mary?
2042 hasn't been, from my look, by the way, optics-wise, I don't know about your look and the people who you've seen it, I haven't seen it being received particularly well. In spite of it being received well, like on certain places, like it seems to be kind of a mixed bag.
I would say it's probably been received fairly well, considering the baggage it's dragging along with it. 2042 was announced. Its trailer is actually liked now, unlike Battlefield 5's awful fucking trailer.
Mm-hmm. It's actually got a pretty high rate, like dislike.
Mm-hmm.
I have it up right now.
I think, considering the damage that Battlefield 5 did to the franchise, and it was far more than just being gender-filled either. Like, that was the beginning of it. That was the thing that really riled up a considerable portion of the fandom. And then they also delivered what was just a pretty bad game overall, that really wanted to be Call of Duty whilst being a Battlefield game, which is an awful bloody idea.
Mm-hmm.
Considering that, I think it's been received pretty damn well, everything considered. They did release the gameplay trailer today, about 4 or 5 hours ago. It's been viewed like 2 million times, 278,000 thumbs up, 4,000 thumbs down. That's good. It's great.
They have released the gameplay. Okay, that's news to me.
Yeah, you can play that in the background too.
See,
and it looks like Battlefield. There's no indication of any biological whammons running around trying to steal the show. It's all fast-paced Battlefield-y action with quad trucks running around. And for the first time in ages, too, they're actually trying to push the envelope with larger-scale battles. This is something I've been whinging about for ages now. With all of the advantages in technology, we've still got like 64-player fights. Why?
And
now we're finally moving up to like 100 people.
Oh, there's a lot of unique tools that change the gameplay in this. It seems like they're going to be pushing the environmental aspect that 4 had, which I kind of thought was cute, where you could topple skyscrapers. You know what?
I quite like that.
I'm kind of interested. Too. Yeah.
A lot of the game journalists whinged about it. Battlefield 6, we have climate change, but it's not political. How could they? Like, it could just be a goddamn gimmick. It could just be a bloody gameplay gimmick, and it looks like a bloody gameplay gimmick. They haven't said anything about what causes it or anything. They haven't tried to make any points about it. They haven't tried to make it a focus of the game. They seem to literally just be like, right, we want to have a gunfight in a goddamn city with glass skyscrapers as a ginormous sandstorm rages on outside. That seems to be what they want to have happen.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Spec Ops The Line. Like, it's not really about the environmental effects or anything like that. It's just like, hey, it looks cool. And you know what? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it looks cool. You don't need a fancy lore explanation, especially for a Battlefield game. Like, let's fucking be real.
Especially for a Battlefield game, yeah. Like, and they're going to kill. They're kicking out the campaign as well, which I think is a very good move, because the campaigns in Battlefield 5 were awful, and it's because they tried to push in their shit into it. Battlefield does not necessarily need a campaign. Now, Bad Company, that needs a campaign, because that's funny. But
I actually had a good one, yeah.
Yeah, no, I see no reason why this would need a campaign.
If you don't have an idea with what you want to do for the campaign, Just don't bother. It's better to focus all your resources and efforts into one mechanic, because
Mhm.
like if you're just making a game, because now that all that money, you don't have to worry about like the writing, the any of that. You can put all that more into the levels and stuff. See, now I
Yeah.
did say somewhere, I'm not sure if that's a rumor, it's only going to launch with 7 maps, but if these maps are large and they're dynamic, that could be cute enough. And I will say this, and kudos to, well, I don't know if it's kudos or more like disappointment that it took them that long. Battlefield 1 was actually not that bad. Battlefield 1 was hampered by map packs. If you're familiar with shooter games, map packs kill player bases because they force
Yes.
people to buy map packs, which divides the player base. That is a horrible, horrible practice, and especially for making a shooter game. Like that's why you notice like Halo stopped doing that recently as well, and other games also don't do that. When they introduce new maps or anything like that, it's free for everybody, because to not make it free for everybody would mean that, well, there goes half the player base, or a third of them are going to be playing on those maps only. Well, now that's going to have longer queue times because they're going to have to wait for it to find more people to get in the next match, and it's all sorts of problems. Get rid of map packs. That's what they did with 5. That was the one good thing they did with 5. 5 was an utter disaster, pretty much on everything else.
And
So
even if there's only 7 maps, if the 7 maps are like the stuff we see in the gameplay trailer, massive maps with towering skyscrapers, lots of different areas, lots of different scenery, lots of different stuff happening in the background, rule of cool style, like the launch of a massive rocket in the middle of the fight, you know what? I can live with 7 maps. And the thing is, too, this isn't a strategy game either, where 7 maps would not be enough for like a real time strategy game because the tactics are often very dependent on the map in question, and it would lead to a very stale meta very quickly. In a first person shooter, I'd rather have 7 good maps than 20 mediocre or bad maps.
yeah, honestly, just looking at the map's interesting. I like it. Like it's very stylistic, and it's not very practical. But you know what? Do you play Battlefield for practicality and like anything like that? Like I
No.
don't. I like run
And that
around
was
in a
the
big
that was
battle.
the
That's it.
error that Five made as well. Five was like, we're gonna take World War II seriously. Really? You're gonna take it seriously whilst the robot women are running around, are you? Okay, screw yourself.
Make up your mind. Like you have to commit. See, now you could have robot women if you wanted to, because
Yes.
it's 2042. It's like space, or well, it's not space, but it's like quasi future modernistic. So we can
Yeah, near
indulge in
future.
fantasy. We can indulge in fantasy realistically, or maybe not realistically, but stylistically too. Like you can add like androids or whatever. Like doesn't matter. Who cares? Do
And
whatever.
pointedly, though, they haven't put any cyborg women. Like, I really do think that they got their little asses bitten there by the SJW nonsense. And there was also you got to remember, a massive purge within their upper ranks after the Battlefield 5 disaster as well. A lot of people lost their jobs, a lot of people resigned, a lot of people moved on, quote unquote.
Mhm.
And now it looks like, bearing in mind, looks like, maybe we're completely wrong, but it looks like DICE is just making a goddamn Battlefield game again.
Yeah, I'm actually interested. Because before this gameplay trailer, I didn't have much interest in it, but now that I see it, like, it's got some cool stuff, like the little suit thing, or the what do you call it? Not the squirrel suit. And they brought
Yep.
back the tut-tut, and the CGI trailer made reference to the guy getting out of the ship is actually what a player did in believe Battlefield 4. And so that was kind of
Mhm.
cool that they made like an homage to the old players. Because what they're trying to do is attract people to it. I also noticed,
Yes.
fun fact, that Battlefield 4 on Steam, last I checked, was $10, which kind of makes me have a scratch to pick it up again. A little
Scratch to
bit.
pick it up
An
again.
itchy bit. I have an itchy bit now. It is
You're
$10.
English.
Look, 10 buckaroodles.
I'm optimistic. I want it to be good because I haven't played a good Battlefield game since Bloody Bad Company 2, pretty much. So I would not mind it. I would not mind it one bit.
I also wish they showed more about the ice map. That's kind of cool
Yeah.
because you remember Tiberian Sun where tanks would sink through the ice? That'd be kind of cool if they
Mhm.
had like a mechanic like that.
It will be. But yes, there you have it. Battlefield 2042 might actually be good, and E3 is dead. Long may it rot.
E3 was not very good. So far, it's been an absolute abysmal disaster, which is hilarious because I didn't even watch it. Because I don't waste my time with that shit. You always read the after action report because who gives a shit? It's either gonna 90% of the stuff that's announced there isn't gonna be out until like the next week or month. Sometimes they do new release stuff, but not very often.
Now, let's go through some more super chats, and maybe, depending on how long it takes, maybe we can also mention the Tolkien Society's program on diversity. It is
No.
it's a lovely little thing.
Should I message Bubbles now or later?
Bob Mann says changing to pride flag in Russia might be criminal. Also, if you don't give me my Skaven RP, I will unsubscribe from Dev, Disco, and Kibs, especially Kibs. Actually, a pride flag itself, I don't think is criminal in Russia, but organizing pride parades is. Now, on the one hand, I condemn this, because at the end of the day, if you're gay and you want to go outside in a parade, go ahead, be my guest. On the other hand, we also see, like with the Microsoft thing, it's a political thing now. It is an almost pure political ideology. And I can definitely see why Russia might be like, no, like we don't want this shit here. We've seen what it's done to the West. Go away. So, yeah.
I mean,
But
the
definitely
Russians are the
unsubscribe
people who
from,
caused
Kibs.
these kinds of things to happen to begin with. They know.
Oh, communists. Russians and communists are two different things.
Yeah, I know, but the people who made those decisions live in Russia, some of them today. So they're like,
you gotta remember,
subversive aspects.
Kyle brings up a valid point once in a blue moon, and the ones who pass these laws banning these pride organizations and shit is ex-KGB. Like, they know subversion when they spot it. They wrote the book on it.
Like most of our history books and like educational books, if you look in the United States and the education system, especially public schooling, were influenced by the Soviet Union, because the entire idea is that they wanted to play the long game and subvert us. Problem it turns out communism as an economic system really can't work well for the long game.
Kind of awful, as it turned out. Weirdly enough,
Just
kind of awful.
can't play long game. Economy collapse.
You can't be a late game player, Kyle.
You can't. You really
No,
can't.
can't.
They're trying to use late game plays, but they just can't do it.
We are going to have to play some Forge Alliance again soon, and then after playing Forge Alliance, we need to try out that new free version of it, the
BAR
thing. BAR, yes, bar. ShadowFox2300. What's really funny is that the chief of my section is a Native American, and even he cringed badly when they brought up the Twin Soul thing during one of the Pride Month classes they have us do. I bet you he did.
And just for chat's sake, I'm pulling it up. Beyond All Reason RTS runs on the Spring engine. If you're familiar with that is, Total Annihilation. So basically, BAR is a spiritual successor, not to Supreme Commander, but to what Supreme Commander was also a spiritual successor to, which is Total Annihilation. It is totally free to download. And I'll put a link in the chat. Here. You can try it right now. Free. Hey, I actually played it. It's actually pretty good.
Well, I don't know about that. Now they're going to have to pay me for plugging them.
I plugged them. They have to pay me.
God, no, you're mine. You're my property.
That's not how that works.
Bob Man, if you don't give me a good Skaven RP, I will commission each of you both together. Already been done, Bob. Already happened. Tristan Williams, first time turning in live. Keep up the great work. Guys, Kibbs, is there any info out about the game you're working on? Would love to look into it.
There's lots.
I may answer this question. The
No.
only progress Kyle has made on his game for the last 5 years is making a pixelated tubby version of his avatar.
You know what? Just for you, I'm pulling that up. So
Fat Kyle's thing.
our dev team got a little bit excited when I was away, and our new musician thought he was funny, so he told our lead animator to put Aerith in a box and make her fat. Or no, I think he did that. So that was what I was sent to me because I missed the last workshop, and I was like, okay, all right. There's a chubby little Aerith in a box. We turned it into emoji, and people ask or wanted us to put that in the game. So we'll have to think about that. But yeah, no, if you want to know more about the game we're working on, it's called Legends of Terrestria. You can find more about it in my Discord server. But yeah, I'll keep it over there. I'll just put up that art piece. Because we also did our first hype map. But we aren't here to talk about Kib's game, because Kib's game ain't coming out this year, sadly.
Kib's game isn't coming out ever.
Maybe it'll be an alpha, closed alpha this year, we're lucky.
But when it does not come out, then Fat Arif does need to be a vendor selling like apples or something somewhere in the city.
Yes, or floating down a river in a box. Sad.
Potentially. Now, I will also remind you all, because see, I've told myself, when I started this channel, I was like, I'm going to tell people to like videos more often because it helps and I need to be more of a shill, but I forgot about it. So I'm going to catch up now. The like button is your friend. Caress it gently. If you touch it gently, repeatedly, actually, no, not repeatedly, because then you'll turn it off again. If you touch it once, then God will bless you. I'm not lying to you.
Okay, you don't have to be cringe about it. You can just say like,
I
there's
can.
a like button to support
I
me.
will. I will.
If you do that,
be cringe about it.
if you do that, smash that bell button, I'll fucking snap your neck.
Yeah. No. You heard it here first, guys. Smash that like button. Do it and hit it. Like I always hate to smash it. See, it sounds like it appeals to the masculine, like hit it hard, boys.
Gently lick it.
Yes, gently lick it. We are more feminine here. Lick it gently.
And give it a little suck.
Just like the little man in the boat. Cody Davis says, gay is... God damn it, YouTube. Right. Well, I was about to read that. Gay is what I am, not who I am. I will not be defined by an immutable characteristic that I had no choice about. Love or hate me for my choices. That is a good point. Though, Cody, have you tried electroconversion therapy? Are you sure it is truly immutable?
I don't think Cody's husband will be okay with that. Unless they're into that. That could be kinky.
They might. Like, I do know there are certain couples that, like, put electrodes near their balls and shit, and then they go, like, zap.
I mean, whatever gets your rocks off, I guess.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I think that passing a few 100,000 volts through someone to check whether or not they're really homosexual or not, it's not a great idea, but, you know, it's worth a try. Yeah, we should try it out. Why not? What do you think, Colin? Should we try it out?
No. I think you're bad,
Yeah.
and you should feel bad for having bad opinions. I'm being a bad person. Look at you. Okay.
But it's the only way to be sure, Kyle.
Is it?
No, but we gotta find out.
You don't sound very certain of yourself now, do you? Starting to second guess. It's like, maybe I do.
Listen,
bad
Kyle, all major scientific breakthroughs has been done on speculative bases. Who knows? If we start passing electricity through the homosexuals, maybe we figure out a new energy source?
I doubt it.
I'm trying to come up with the reasons here, but I'm having a hard time of it.
You could just leave Cody. Look at that. Disco's like, leave poor Cody alone. You need to make a video, Disco, where you hide under the blankets like that one girl did and be like, leave Cody alone. Just leave her alone. Like Britney Spears.
I don't know about that.
That's old.
Oh, well. It was worth a try anyways. Lancelot652. I agree with Kibbs. Bang.
About what?
While I enjoy some of his channel, Chapter Master has a GW branded spine. Okay, well, even I agree with Kibbs a little bit on that one.
You're damn right. Look at that conversion therapy right there. Conversion Kib therapy. As like, well, Kibbs is actually pretty based, actually.
Kibbs is anti-conversion therapy until it confirms one of his biases. After that, it's just sparks flying as the car batteries come out.
Doubtful.
Black 1917 says, "Hail Arch Christ and breed Kibbs." Yes, correct. Victor Salazar, have you ever considered doing a lore video on the Ice Witches of Kislev? I don't think they've even made. Oh no, the ice witches. Maybe at some point, but there's not a whole lot of lore on them. They're mentioned like twice, and it's just like they hate dudes. That's it. And they do ice and they hate dudes. Presumably that means they've got a lot of frosted dildos when I come to think of it.
Frosted dildos.
I mean, they have their urges, Kyle, so I'm assuming they would be dicking one another with like rock hard ice penises?
Arch's brain is slowly degrading over the course of the stream. Like,
no. It's logic, Kyle. It's logic. They have things, they have certain urges they need to scratch, and they can only make stuff out of ice. So
I'm not gonna help you. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you on that hill as the vultures buzz down and fucking start picking at you because you're dead.
I think I have a point.
There's a little skeleton up there with glasses and a beard. That's Arch. That's his hill
Black
right
1917 there. Says, also, Kyle, were you yesterday? He was being passed around yesterday.
I was at a family wedding. So that's why
family wedding. An entire family being wedded.
Yeah.
That's creepy as shit.
My cousin was getting married to another person.
To your cousin?
No.
That's what a family wedding is.
I don't live in those states. We may live in the rural area, but it's not that rural kind.
So, Gibbs has confirmed inbreeding is a common occurrence in his family.
No.
Besides, I'd like to point out the chat has caught up to the frosted dildo segment, and their response is, Arch really is an enlightened person. I was right.
He's laying on that hill. Yes, his little corpse shriveled. You know the fucking... Listen, Fallout 1, when you lose that skeleton there, and there's like, that's you on the hill.
No, Kyle.
Dead.
No, Kyle, also, bad. Stop using the F word, you little weasel.
I don't know what you're talking about. I said you're dead on a hill.
Bad, Kyle.
Inquisitor
Jack says, Warpstone weaponry, being necessary to kill slay man-things, the workshop of Clan Scryer shall not stop halt. Disco does need to get around to making warp weaponry. That's true. Also, Kyle is still a little bit quiet. That's true.
What?
Kyle's bad at audio.
Maybe we move this closer. I had to move my... No, that's too loud. We're trying.
Hashtag inbred kibs, correct?
We're trying.
Olav Övrebro says, for 200 Swedish colonial money, Arch, is it even possible to advance a plotline like that of 40k, where everything is the brink of collapse without blowing up the setting, e.g. the end time, or de-escalating like with the return of Gilliman? No. Like, you've happened upon the key point right there. If your entire setting is based on the idea that you're 5 minutes to midnight, then there's nowhere to go.
Yes.
You can't go back because now you're destabilizing your own setting, and you can't go forward because now you've blown up your setting.
That's Arch has actually hit it. So the whole point of Grimdark, the whole setting is that it's Grimdark and it's always Grimdark. And so what you need it to be is it needs to be in... Now, they've already established that this is a galaxy-wide story, right? So it's an entire galaxy. They can tell billions of stories in this setting. You don't need to advance the timeline. And by advancing the timeline, you're only going to do bad things. Like, when Battletech advanced their timeline the first couple of times, it was fine. Until you started getting to weird things, like the Dark Age. And things just got progressively weirder. To the point where they were like, oh shit, we fucked up. Let's just reset the Inner Sphere again. And so they did. And so that made all that progress meaningless. And so now you're back at square one again. So what was the point of all that? Is what you have to ask yourself.
Yes. They should have contented themselves in advancing other stories within the universe. Basically going like, okay, we're going to tell this story over here now, because this is a story we haven't told yet. Where like stuff like the Siege of Rax, stuff like Badab. You can tell these stories without ruining the wider plotline. But everybody kept whinging at them, like, they got to advance the plotline. And then they screwed it up, and then people were like, shocked Pikachu face, how could they?
There's no way to advance the Warhammer 40k storyline without actually making someone upset and actually making it relevant. Yes. Because you need to kill off factions. And if you kill off a faction, what happens? Everyone's going to be upset because all those stupid little pieces of plastic they bought are now fucking meaningless.
Like
Nobody wants that. That's exactly what the End Times did, yeah.
It is terrible. Andrew Apalategui. Arch help! My friend was playing the Skaven in Warhammer 2 and thought his Greysayer said, "All hail Horny Rat," and now he won't start calling Skaven Horny Rats. Well, they do breed a lot, and they keep their women locked in basements so as to be gang raped for all eternity. A character trait that I personally can see the appeal of. Run, Disco. Run.
Pip, 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 pip.
No. Well, no. If we keep Disco in the basement, and that is definitely something that both me and Kyle have considered on multiple occasions, it will be for coding and animating purposes.
I mean, that's where I have it right now.
Well, no, I'm talking about a literal basement, like an actual enclosed space where she can't leave all the time.
All the time? You mean ever?
Yeah, ever.
I can just stuff my other programmers in there, too.
Why even have a door, in fact?
It'll just be a pit. We can throw food down in there.
Yeah. No need for an exit. In fact, an exit would only encourage wrong think. Ideas such like escape or hope.
Think about it, chat. Our game will be done even faster if they can't stop working.
Yeah. And if they resist, instead of food, we just pour water down there. Like,
slowly fills up.
It will animate. Or it'll get the hose again.
Or it'll get the hose again. Damn right. See, this is how game development works. There was a point in time when I was like, I don't understand the AAA industry treating like programmers and artists poorly, until I met artists. And I was like, wow, they ghost me? They steal my money all the time? Now, that's not the artist I'm working with now, but I now understand why the industry treats them so poorly. They almost deserve it. Some of them.
I mean, there is rankings of awful in this world. Like at the very bottom of the pit, you've got stuff like career politicians, games journalists. Artists are a step above this, but they need to be reminded of their place in the great continuum. Otherwise, they'll start thinking of themselves like people. You can't have that, trust me.
Damn. Disco's totally alright with being in your basement, as long as you feed her well. I think we know what her kinks are now, chat. It's like, oh, shit. See, watch that, Disco. It's like the Minotaurs, but 2.0. She's like, fuck.
Inside the basement.
Basement time for Disco.
I've already explained, though, that if she doesn't behave, she goes outside in a tent and has to forage for food.
Chat, quick, narrative craft. Don't let Disco weasel out of this. She's already trying to weasel out.
Maleficus Shai Khan says, these fanatics aren't even fun to mind break. Pity. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, you probably would have to force yourself to mind break hentai Candy, the twin-spirited warriors queen. But think about the progress you could make for humanity if you did. Inquisitor Jack says, seriously, my fellow Amerifats, get in shape, get armed, get trained, make friends with your local sane people, get involved in local politics/schools. Now, the last part of that I agree with. You do need to get involved in politics and schools, but the armed part, question, doubt, condemn.
One thing
just sits there like quietly polishing his rifle like, yes.
There's something even more important. Black1917 says hashtag free disco. Now the only reason you'd say that is if you wanted to simp so you get more kitty noises.
Yep. And if it's a simp, we ignore it. So
she's trying to rile chat up against us. There's a little rebellion on her hands. Time to get banned, Happy.
That just means we'll have more people in the hole in the ground.
More potential. You may not know how to code now, chat, but you'll learn.
Once food is dependent upon it, you'll learn.
I don't know how to draw pretty pictures. You'll learn, son.
Do you want this pizza?
We'll like be sitting above them, you know, with top hats and stuff, you know, like slave owners would, or whatever, eating like pizza, adjusting Monaco, sipping wine.
TF Allspark says, "Hello, Arch and Kibbs. This will be the last super chat for a month. I'm finally going to sail up and down the fjords after being laid off for a year. Platonically, love you both, and remember to always gatekeep." That is correct. Always gatekeep. And you shall go gatekeep the fjords. So may you have a fun old time wandering the waterways.
Mm-hmm.
You can. We should make little Kyle plushies, and you can have one of them tied up after you're both just dragging it along.
It might get a barnacle on it if you do that.
And Zekel for a very generous 50 Australian dollars, I do believe, ass bucks. "Socialism is the religion that will overtake Christianity." Can't remember who said that. I do not know it either, but he was certainly correct. It is a religion. It has its original sin, and it also has that lovely idea that God can never be wrong. No matter how stupid God might behave, he has a plan in the end. Remember that. God threw an entire busload of children off a spiky cliff, all for the greater good.
He did do that.
Why? Why did God kill Timmy? Because he needed him at his side. He needed a 5-year-old paraplegic kid that can't wipe his ass? Yes. Why? Because God wanted something to laugh at.
But why? These are the
Kyle,
real
that was
questions. We
that
still
wasn't
have
the
more
response I was
articles to
asking.
go through. What's this weeaboo one you sent me? Oh no. It's a fucking VTuber. Clicks on it, immediately frowns. Cringe.
Parafox 23 "Sunlight is the best disinfectant when it comes to terrible politics, and you missed my last tube chat about my chief of section that is Native American in Cringe about the Twin Souls thing." No, I didn't. I hadn't gotten to it yet. Silly Shadow Fox. Silly Shadow Fox. Shame you get to go in the hole now. Now, since Kyle desperately wants to talk about this, fine. We'll talk about Kiryu Koko then, shall we? Because Kyle's like, "I want to talk about this. It has titties on it."
This has
That's
only
correct, Kyle.
vindicated me, this whole Coco thing, by the way. I was right.
Yes.
It's just fucking... It's the idol industry. It's corporatism. And if you watch a VTuber and they're corporate, you're part of the problem. Don't watch corporate VTubers. Don't be a part of the problem. You're not going to stop it because too many people are dumb and they'll just consume this garbage anyways.
It is awful. Now, Coco was one of the more anti-corporate ones. She was far more outspoken than most of them, and I think that is what ended up eventually getting her the boot, too. Though, to be fair, we do not know for sure whether or not it was the boot or if she genuinely decided to quit. Now, on the one hand, I'll tell you this. You could not get me to quit a job where I was earning hundreds of thousands of dollars in super chats every month.
She's also mega
You would
rich.
have to drag me kicking and screaming from that. But at the same time, she was receiving a load of just straight up harassment from Chinese communists and bots because she mentioned Taiwan at one point, which she did not deserve in any way, shape, or form. And the thing is, being a YouTuber requires, genuinely so, a particular mental fortitude. You have to be able to handle certain things, and you need to handle them well. Otherwise, they will crush you. And it's very potential that the harassment got too much, and so she figured, okay, I'm already stinking rich, so why subject myself to this?
Yeah, there could be a myriad of reasons. One, she actually just doesn't like doing this, and she's got the money she wants, and she has no interest in doing it anymore. Two, it could be the harassment. Three, the corporation could have done it. Honestly, I lean towards the corporation thing because it just seems more likely to me, personally, because from what people tell me of Coco as a person and her persona that she puts up, the act she puts up for people, it comes off as like, fuck you, like, I don't care. Like, okay, well, then she doesn't care, more than likely. And why would she? She has like probably 1 million supporters. Even if 1,000 people whinge at you, that chorus of voices and support and that have surrounded her are going to shout that down. So I don't even think that has any sway. Which leads me to believe that it's either, those two options. Either A, she just actually didn't care that much and she just wanted the money, and she's just, all right, I have my money, I want to go. Or B, the corp did it. And I lean towards B, personally. I don't even like VTubers, but it just looks corporate to me.
Very possible. And we will never know for absolute certain either. And chat actually brings it up. Yeah, I know. I did mention in another video that I don't know if the fortitude is the right word to describe it, but at the same time, it kind of is. Because on the one hand, I don't want to say that you have to be tough to ignore harassment either, because it's not necessarily a question about toughness.
But you kind of do, though, Arch, because people do stuff. People do really horrible things to you, and they will go out of their way to attack you and hurt you in any possible way they can. They've done it to Arch, they've done it to me, they've done it to others, and I know lots of people who just couldn't dish it. You do need to have strength of character to actually survive YouTube. It's not that simple.
To understand, yeah.
They will stalk you, they will harass you, they will try to dox you, they'll try to get you fired at a job that you work at. They will go out of their way to do everything they can to destroy your life. There are people like that. There was a group of people like a couple years ago that Strayman found that were going out of their way to try to find a way to make some sort of miscommunication between Arch and myself happen so that we'd no longer be friends with each other. And Strayman put a stop to it. Like, that's just one incident where that happened. Like, these things, and that's not the only one. When you do YouTube, you got to understand that when people like you, someone will hate you. And somebody will dedicate their life to hating you. Arch has people like that too. He's big enough to the point where there are people out there, and I've seen them. Like, they actually do that kind of shit. We've seen them. We've got even some screen caps, but we're not going to link those here. Maybe sometime. But yeah, no, it's pretty fucked up. You got to be willing to take it.
I do wish her the best in her future endeavors, regardless of which side made the decision, but I also just want to point out, even if she made the decision herself, right, 100% her own decision, it's still an awful industry, as she is not allowed to plug her alternatives, she is not allowed to use the model she popularized, and I think there was also a mention that she's not allowed to collaborate with the other VTubers either, which are now her friends as well, so it's like, it's an awful industry. It is. Yep. It is an absolutely awful industry.
The goal is to blacklist them and ostracize them as quickly as possible. That's the problem with corporate YouTube. Like, they're not here to make you have fun. That's not the fun aspect of YouTube. You don't get to have friends. Like, as soon as her thing's terminated, they're gonna be like, all right, if any of you interact with her in a public way, I don't think they can legally stop her from being friends with them. But like, you were.
There was also some rumors floating about that she was being ostracized by other VTubers in the Hololive company as well. Some bitchy behind the scenes shit. It's pure speculation because we can't know. The reason why I think she was forced out in some way is because of the video, because she sounds like she's having a very hard time. Like, she sounds sad. She sounds like she's being forced to say this, and she hates every second of it. But again, then it's just me reading into it, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, these people, like, I know some people in chat say it's like high school bad. Like, no, it's not. Like, these people are actively trying to sabotage her. If they found out her real name and where she lived, they'd make sure that she'd get ostracized from everything. It's not just high school drama. They'll get you fired. And I've seen it happen to others. It happened to somebody that worked for us. They've already been blacklisted by other things, and we've been blacklisted by companies for siding with them. Like, it's not a high school thing. It's high school level in terms of how stupid it is, but this shit is real. And that's why when Arch talks about cancel culture, this is a real problem, because it actually endangers your livelihood.
Well, it does. Get Coco on the ArchCast. Sadly, I think I'm too small for Coco, I'm afraid.
Yeah, she has her own channel, so she's actually going to be okay at the end of the day. Because she can just run her own channel, and she'll get popularized because of this, because of the drama surrounding it. So I think she's going to be fine, no matter what. Like, she's got her own following. And she's...
Yes.
Chat, does anybody in chat know what her channel is? Because we should plug it if we know it.
It's Kson. Kson.
All right, time to pull it up. Kson. YouTube.
Plus, whilst I do understand Jap, and I can speak it, but my pronunciation is awful. And she does speak a little bit English. Not that much.
Is it called Kson on Air?
Yes, that's it.
485K subs.
200,000 subs to 485,000 over the course of like.
Oh yeah, she's
day.
probably fine, but I'll still plug it anyways. Oh my god. There you go.
Ore no Nihongo wa hidoi desu. Yes, let's add in the desu there.
There you go, you weebs. And she's got her own little avatar, though to be honest, her avatar there is very sterile, if I had to comment design-wise.
It's less good, yes.
But it's not about the avatar, it's about the person. So the person you like, the person you enjoy is here. If you like that channel. There you go. Problemo solved. She's American, says Chant. I mean, I didn't even know.
Originally, maybe. I don't... Is she? Are you sure? Yeah.
I have not the faintest clue.
Well, feel free, chat, to send her messages and go like, would you like to go on the ArchCast? And if by some miracle she's dumb enough to go like, yes, then inform me.
Dumb enough to go yes? You fucking... That's... Look, you're not being political. You're not being correct about it. Also, I'm pretty sure she'd be under contract not to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about something else. But it would be interesting to have a chat about, like, the VTuber industry. Because from my perspective, it looks like idle bullshit.
I don't think she could. Like, those idle industries, like, she couldn't talk. She's not going to show up. Because, like, she couldn't say shit. I'm pretty sure.
Which is why I'm saying, like, if the chat manages to work its magic, then I'm certainly not against it. But I wouldn't hold my breath.
That wouldn't definitely not.
Plus, it would be a good opportunity to practice a little of my Japanese, because, yeah, my pronunciation needs work. I'll have to teach Kyle, and then I can work off him. Like, Kyle, what is Boku no Pico? What does that mean?
It means a thing that I'm not watching.
Boku no Devo.
As much as you want me to watch that with you, we're not watching it. Like,
with me? Jesus, no.
Yeah, he wants to watch it. Cuddle up on the sofa.
Kyle wants to watch Boku no Pico, and he can do that by him.
Look, he's getting defensive. He's like, oh shit, my plans.
Alright, Skullthrone 88. So, Vampire the Masquerade 2 is getting a Battle Royale. Pain. Yes.
What?
Yes, it is. Oh, don't you know? Vampire the Masquerade is getting a Battle Royale game.
I'm not even surprised, actually. It's just lame. But like Battle Royale as a genre just doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. I tried a couple of them, but just
it's awful. And the worst part is it's literally just a skin as well. That is all it is. It is just a skin. Here, I'll send you so you can put it up on screen for people to watch a little bit of it. This is the announcement trailer.
Let's take a scoop.
It has nothing to do with Vampire the Masquerade. You don't use all that many melee weapons. You don't use all that many vampiric powers either. It's a lot of just shooty, bang, bang, and crap. Like, there's no intrigue, there's no diplomacy, there's no talky. I don't know if there even is a melee weapon shown in the announcement trailer. I'm looking at it now. All I see is just lots of guns and fireballs.
I mean, this doesn't look like a gameplay. This is just purely cosmetic. Personally, though, I just don't see... like.
But the thing is, there's nothing vampire here. Like, vampires fighting one another with shotguns, with SMGs. What the hell is this? Like, this isn't Vampire the Masquerade. None of this is Vampire the Masquerade.
The Masquerade's about being sneaky.
There's one.
Here they're running through fucking the streets shooting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the Masquerade? Where's the stealth?
It's dumb. It's just a desperate hope that they can earn some money off the VTM name, basically. That's pretty much it. It's Paradox, isn't it? Because Paradox are the ones who own, like, the thing, is it? Let me check that before I
Do they own the exclusive
put
rights
my
over the
foot
license?
in it. Shark Mob AB. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. So it might just be a piece of shit battle royale game that uses the IP for sake of using the IP. It looks awful. I don't like it. It needs to be ashamed of itself. I have condemned it utterly and completely. Hear me, brethren. It is poopy. It is poopy on the scoopy. Hi donates. What books would you recommend for a newcomer of 40k? Eisenhorn. The Eisenhorn, the Inquisitor trilogy, more correctly. The Eisenhorn books, they're great. They are great. They are great. And unlike Gaunt's Ghost, it starts out great, whilst Gaunt's Ghost needs a couple of books to really get rolling. Boag donates 20 fajitas to say, obligatory weeb shilling, Minotaur's sweetheart. Disco's favorite romantic manga, yes. She has told me many good things about this. In fact, hold on a second there. I'll just real quick send that over in case she forgets about it there for a second or two. She deserves it. She likes it. She secretly enjoys it. Oh, she's already yelling at me. Well, that was quick.
I don't think any of us are surprised.
No, I think this is the kind of manga that Disco needs to really go in depth with more often. I think this is important.
Remove
for her
March.
growth and development as a human being. The Minotaur is asking the female knight to marry her. This is very much so a anime thing here.
Send it.
Kyle, of course, wants it as well.
I'm gonna pull it up for stream. Wait, where's the picture of them, like, wanting to marry? Like, getting on his knees and proposing. The cowardly pacifist Minotaur tries to avoid fighting. Ravine Vidnova, oh, that's a name, misunderstood that he made a proposal with a little passing. Oh god, that just reeks of weebery.
Yes.
See, I like anime as an art style. I really dig it, and I really wish we got more things like Cowboy Bebop or, you know, what's it called? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like, that's the stuff I like. This is like weird, fetishy anime. Manga, specifically.
Well, yes. It's specifically a tale about a female knight falling in love with a minotaur, Kyle. You are correct. It is indeed fetishy. But that's the beauty about anime and manga as well. No matter what kind of depraved preferences you have, there's probably a full-blown manga out there ready and willing to support it.
I think it's more than that. It's a whole subsection. No, there's nothing wrong with manga. In fact, it's great that that exists because it means that people can express themselves freely. That is a good thing. I just don't want to indulge in it. But everyone deserves the right to indulge in it.
Everyone deserves a Minotaur boyfriend. I agree, Kyle. You fat.
You heard it here, Disco. She's like, son of a bitch. She's like in the process of deleting your server, like, Lamau, right-click, delete.
Vengeance. Oh, another message. Oh, she's sad now.
She's fallen in love with the Minotaur herself. Nice.
The thing is, she sent me a picture of Kanye West laughing and then being kind of like sad. Like, the thing is, she opened the manga and she was like, "Oh, this is funny." Then she read the first chapter and she's like, "God damn it, I do actually like beefcake."
She says, "Barge," Disco by the B, is gross in the chat.
Is being defensive. That's all. A Boag for another 20 Tex-Mexes? Yes, Tex-Mexes. Is Kibs paying for Kibs game shill with Dota game? Good point. That's 4 rounds, Yomi.
Kibs paying for what?
You're paying for your shilling with Dota games.
Actually, I only
You're
showed
shilling stuff on somebody else's channel, Kyle.
I only
That's
showed
not
a
only rude,
picture to a
it's
super chat.
disgusting. And yes, that is Dota Games.
No, that doesn't
Umbrella
count.
Corp Security says, chat, give the dislike button equal representation. Banu.
No, gatekeep the dislike
Banu.
button. See, there's one guy who clicked it. Don't let him in.
Banu. But do gently stroke the like button. 407. That's a good job, boys. Good job.
8.
Get it up to like 1,000.
Yes, I need you guys to breed with each other to make more of yourselves.
Yes. If you can get it up to 1,000, I promise you that somehow I will deliver Kibs tied and bound to your doorstep.
See, now they're just going to make fake accounts, and that is also a promise he can't even keep.
No, but that's fine, because if I can't keep it, nobody will really
Also,
expect
chat,
me to
I do
deliver
not
on
look
it.
like my mascot, okay? The mascot is purely just a thing. What you see here is just a mascot. The real Kib has a beard. You don't want that showing up at your doorstep.
Beard. Like, from you, Kyle, I can hear your voice. You don't have a beard. You
I've
have
actually
at
got
most
a
whiskers.
big beard. It's pretty
Bullshit.
long.
Bullshit.
See, I decided to grow out a beard because I'm like, writers who write lore have beards because they're like sage wizards. So I was like, fine, I won't shave. Like, now I will grow my
Bullshit.
sagely beard.
Mr. Twisted Frenzy says, no Skaven RP again? Bad dev. Bad dev, Squeak. Yes, bad dev. Dev deserves many, many things. None of them good. AK says, no rat RP, the rake will come for the leaves, Dev. I do like how they all blame Dev. This is good. It is Dev's fault, because Dev wanted to be a corporate shill instead. And Crazy Loon, an armed society is a polite society. I mean, you're not wrong, according to history. But it can also be a slightly valid one. Boag says, Kibbs is a self-hating VTuber. That too is correct.
Nope.
Objectively correct. Viking Kiwi. Coco's personal channel has grown a lot after the announcement. It went from 200,000 to almost 500,000. Yes, it has. And it is good. It is good. Again, I hope she has all the success in the world, because she seems to have been a good person who has been used and abused.
I think she will be fine, if I had to guess, based on her growth and her
She'll be finer
money.
than me. If anything, I need sympathy at this point. Like, she's got 500,000 subs and a few 100 million.
This is what you can do. You can be like, Coco, can you please help me? I'm scared little YouTuber and I need help.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good one.
Gotta emphasize scared.
Scared little YouTuber. Joseph Diaz. Coco mentioned that her leaving has to do with creative differences going forward with the corporate. Creative differences. Yes, I've heard that one before. I stopped doing the stuff that made her popular, so decided to get out while she's a hot product. See, that's the thing what I mean about this. Like, everyone has a different interpretation of what happened, and I can kind of see all of them being kind of true at the same time, because Coco was always a bit of a rebel within HoloLive. She genuinely was, which is why I kind of liked her too. But I can also imagine that that brought her a lot of flack, both from the corporation and potentially others. I mean, this is a corporation that hires like a ton of women. And not to be sexist here, but put 2 women in a room and you will have 2 arch enemies 5 seconds later. Disco can attest to this.
More super
Kyle.
chats. Keep going, Slade.
No, Kyle, back me up on the sexism. I don't want to be alone in this.
I'm not gonna commit suicide here. I know to talk to women. I ain't killing myself. Or it's like, no, please. See that hill? Remember that hill conversation we had? You're on the hill again. It's like, oh, hello,
I'm
hill.
gonna go through my DMs with Kyle and see if I can't find somewhere.
You're gonna have to
insult
name
Disco.
the vulture. Also, leaking DMs is a coward's tactic. I'll remember that.
Yes, but it's really effective.
And Disco knows that I would never
escort
mean
missions for the pirate sub. That's going to be good. Yes, in bar trauma, but I'm looking for something spicier here.
Oh yeah, that's actually good news. I believe next week the new Barotrauma update releases with pirate subs, so we'll get to fight other subs and escort missions, which I'm kind of worried about.
Even better, you get to add guns to your submarine, and you get to have all upgrades on all subs. So if you buy Hull 1, that'll be on all subs you buy in the future, which is excellent.
Yes, so the upgrades are persistent. Because before, upgrading a sub was like, well, I don't want to do that because like I want to upgrade to a different sub. So now, any of the upgrades you get at the actual like bases and stuff will actually retain with whatever submarine you get. So now there's a reason to get them right away.
Oh, here we have it. Right.
He did a lot of digging for this, by the way.
In Kyle voice. Him and Disco got into a fight. That's as good as Kyle blaming Disco for the fight right there.
That was the drunk stream. And that
Him
was
and Disco.
And in defense of Disco and Smashkin and everyone else, universally,
No.
We were drunk. We were drunk. And then, like, after people sobered up, they're like, wow.
Disco sends me 3 rolled up newspapers as a threat to Kyle. Yes.
I don't think that's a threat to Kyle. I think that's a threat to you.
That is a threat to Kyle. Now,
I'm reading what he says. Arch will be my nemesis if he keeps making me out to be into bestiality. He will be beaten.
But it's not bestiality.
It's not bestiality, Disco. Technically.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like bestiality or something.
See, the chat too is being little bastards here. Like they're like actually attack Arch, like hovers angrily over ban button.
You must resist.
The best part is, do you know who said hashtag beat up Arch, simping to Disco? Bastard Beast with a Beastman icon. Hot. Steamy romance.
Disco, don't take the bait, Disco. You're smarter than this, Disco. She's like, she sees the fishing hook, and she's like, I bite it. And then,
and then as she's dragged up through the water, she's just like, why did this happen to me? I did nothing wrong.
I did nothing wrong. Disco, that is called bait.
Right. Moving on from bully Disco time. Joseph Diaz, Coco mentioned, I'd do the one. Viking Kiwi, I'm going to do a red dono and ask if she will come on ArchCast. Thank you, Viking Kiwi. Do that and then send me the response, because, I mean, that would be funny, if nothing else.
If it's a mean response, don't send it. Just say she missed it. Otherwise, Arch will be like, no, my favorite waifu.
It would be funny. Shadowfox 2300. I'm not too sure Arch, considering that Fubuki went off on China and the antis what they do to Coco and anyone that collabs with her, and she's lost a lot of subscribers and Coco isn't blacklisted. I'm confused as to the syntax.
What?
Oh yes, I'm not sure. I am considering that Fubuki went off on China and the antis for what they do to Coco and anyone that collabs with her, and she has lost a lot of subscribers and Coco isn't blacklisted. Alright, so he's basically saying I'm presuming that Fubuki will continue to live stream with her. I hope so, because I'm assuming there are people in these things that are genuinely like good friends and will continue to do so. I'm wondering how that works on the HoloLive contract though, because I'm pretty sure they're limited in who they can live stream with, but again, I don't know, so we shall see. In goes to Jack. Eisenhorn is great, but as someone pointed out to Rikita, Eisenhorn's relationship with Elizabeth is cuckold. Ex-Joy Girl, and he can't touch blanks. No, it's not cuckolding requires active dicking, you know? That is a tragic love story. That is two people who love each other but can't be close to one another. It's a cliche, but it's a good cliche. Kyle's just like, but I like cuckolding. Yes, Kyle, we all know.
I didn't say I didn't like Coco as a person. I'm just not into VTubers.
Skull Throne, 888. Arch, don't play Fire Warrior if Disco beats you. She already did, so I don't need to play Fire Warrior. Disco has rescued.
You should play Fire
Black
Warrior.
in 1917 says, beards are sexy, Kyle.
This isn't... If I shave it off, they'll be like, yes. And if I leave it on, they'll yes. There's no winning. There's no winning.
Either way, Kyle, your butthole is Black's property.
Black.com. Get it?
Poor
'Cause his
little
name is Black?
Kyle, surrounded by the big black 1917s.
Fan art win.
Boag
God.
donates another 50 enchiladas. 2 weeks with no rat RP. This is disappointing. Hashtag breedkibs. Hashtag rakedev. Hashtag arch is always right. And the one with the sharpest fangs wins. Killing bite.
He's never gonna stop.
He's never going to fucking stop.
You know what? Wait. I know how to retaliate. So his weakness. He has got one weakness. And we did it in the Foxhole stream. Where we called him Latinx on stream. Because he's...
Latinx.
And you just heard him read because Fairman leaked that secret to us. And all we heard in the Foxhole, like public VC in the distance, because he's like doing something in the background. Fairman! Because he fucking wet.
Here, Boag is officially recognized as our mascot Latinx. Yes, he is.
He has guested on a MechWarrior 5 stream. You can even listen to his Latinxy voice.
Latinxy voice.
He
goes like, yes, I believe in Latinx values.
He did say, "Si, Senor Keeb." Unironically. Maybe ironically.
Empire Builder 12. Have you ever thought about doing Battletech lore? No. Because it's stupid. No, Kyle.
Hold on. So, I've got all the books, Arch. I have
hole.
all the books. I have every book.
Will shove them up.
I own them all. And I'll let you have access to them, Arch, so you can start doing Battletech lore. I'll even help you.
No.
You'll do it and you'll like it.
No.
You're going to do it.
No.
We're going to start with the Mad Cat.
I'll cover goddamn Star Wars first.
You're going to do Battle Squeck, and you're going to fucking like it. We're going to talk about the Inner Sphere. We're going to talk about the Great Houses. We're going to talk about the best faction, Comstar.
I'm going to do Star Wars.
And we're going to fucking talk about all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
No. Maleficus Shycon says, Discordia is capable of revenge, ? She's a submissive. She kind of is. She holds a grudge, though. She holds a grudge very well. I've started referring to her as the elephant. But not Dumbo, because that'd be cruel. Mr. Twisted Frenzy. Any interest in the Redfall game trailer just released today? Redfall.
Let's look it up.
Game.
Oh, they did make an Elden Ring game, but it's just Dark Souls. Since that immediately turned me off when I saw that. I was like, oh, just Dark Souls. Like, it's not even different. It's just Dark. Even the cover art looks like Dark Souls.
Redfall is an open-world vampire shooter from the studio behind Dishonored.
I kind of like the first Dishonored. I wasn't a big fan of the second.
FPS? Maybe.
Let's take a squeak peek. Oh, it's just a CGI cutscene? Or is it actual gameplay?
Maybe. It looks awfully diverse. Like, I have a negative reaction to anything that looks diverse these days. I'm just like, nah.
I don't even care about that. The only thing I care about is the gameplay. Is the gameplay fun? We got two...
but diverse tends to be a good indication that it's not going to be.
We got 2 waifus, okay? Now, I wish there'd be different skins. I just don't dig the afro. If I could give her a different hairstyle, that'd be nice. Is this a 3rd waifu? Nope. Just a dude. I'm not gay. I'll take more waifus, though.
Press F to doubt. Kyle says, Kibbs is the only VTuber I watch. Good for you. Kibbs is not a very successful YouTuber. He's a struggling VTuber. But I am sure he will one day have his good VTuber moment. He just needs an animated avatar. That's what he needs. Instead of that pathetic little PNG thing.
Never in a million years. Never. You'd have to make one.
Literally tomorrow. He's like, I'm thinking about having an avatar. Yes, you are. Queen Nidus says, I've never been a fan of Coco, but she had my full support when the Tricom state came for her, and even so, more so when Whole Life threw her under the bus. I entirely agree. She did nothing wrong, and she deserved better. Inquisitor Jack, Minotaurs would be teratophile, not bestiality. And thanks for the fun stream, Arch, Kibbs, and Disco. Let me just send that
no
to her.
gameplay. Like, I'm sorry, but like CGI trailers, like, don't really, unless it's a franchise I'm already invested in. Like, if it's a Command and Conquer CGI trailer, that would pique my interest because I'm interested. But like, a CGI trailer for something that's a new IP, like, I don't really. There's nothing to go off of. Like, it's just like, what does it mean?
And these streams are fun, aren't they? The banter back and forth between the chat, that's good. We need much of this because it is a positive thing. And it is all because of you, chat. You are good people. Disco just sent me a middle finger.
She sent that a while ago. Oh, in private? Because she sent one publicly in chat.
Yes.
Disco's gonna get mad. Like, fuck. You think fucking a certain Canadian got mad on the drunk stream? Oh boy. Just wait till you see Disco, man.
I have learned exactly where Disco's buttons are now, and I have learned the limits to which I can push her. She has certain tells, which I'm not going to inform you of, because then she'll try to change them up. Like, I am going to work this out to an art.
She is now aware of them because you just said them out loud. You absolute
aware of them?
Muppet.
But which tells are they, Kyle? Which tells? She has tells, yes, but which are they?
Everyone has tells. So do you. Your
yes,
first
but
tell.
What are they,
you know
Kyle?
I know what your tells are. I can
you
tell.
Dumbass. You're like, she knows now.
You know what Arch does when he gets mad? He gets quiet. Know what I do when I get mad? I also get quiet. We have the same tell. When you're actually
because
upset,
you are an off-brand me.
Shut up. When you're actually upset, like, you get really quiet, and it takes a while for you to recompose. Just like I
That's
do.
the thing. That's because when I get angry, I'm gonna start saying shit, and I've gotten old enough now to the point where I'm like, I shouldn't say this because Kyle's a whiny little child.
Mad.
I will take it personally.
You're damn right I will. That's right. You have to keep me special privileges. Like, yes, bullshit. Like,
see, Kyle's too fucking young still. He's too much of a fetus. Even when he's wrong, he can't just come and, I'm sorry, I'm just a Kyle. He needs more beatings.
Disco can vouch that I apologize. See, I know how to apologize. And the only thing I apologize to is women. Why? Because you'll regret it later. They'll make you regret it. You just say you're wrong, and you just pretend it's okay.
That's why you need the balance, Kyle. See, that is why we're working out Disco's exact pressure points. It's fine, because you have to... See, here, chat. We're wandering slightly off topic, but this is the entertainment for which you are so well English, so well entailed. When Disco plays with us, she's so quiet. She just sits there and she grumbles to herself occasionally, and she yells at people for using her fabricator, and then she bitches when she makes a complete pigsty out of her working a room with a submarine. But if you push her buttons, suddenly she becomes very vocal. It's kind of like a cat, and you have to tickle its tummy for it to go like meow 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 meow. But you can't tickle it too much because then the claws come out. It's a careful balance.
It is.
Now, onward to the rest of the show. Viking Kitty says someone sent a donut to Coco and told her that she did have some supporters in China and condemned the antis. Remember that not all Chinese are bad, some are really based. And here's the thing too, this goes mad again. I condemn the Chinese government. It's fucking awful. Chinese people, I love Chinese people. I have not come across a Chinaman yet who isn't based. And they're willing to do shit that we're just not here in the West. Like when Creative Assembly does something shitty, most of their Western fans are like, oh, Massa, please let me tongue your asshole deeper, Massa. The Chinese review bomb their games.
They did. They review bombed Three Kingdoms. Actually, you know what? I'll pull it up for the stream so they can actually see it.
Oh yeah. No, the Chinese people are awesome. But the Chinese state is terrible. And the Chinese state fanboys are even worse.
Yep, they did censor it. So if you actually scroll down the reviews, I believe that's how you see it. Yep, you can see right here. People are mad about Three Kingdoms things, and the only way for CA to fix this is to rescind this decision and complete Three Kingdoms. Okay, you shouldn't have fucking brought that up, because like I actually was low key kind of enjoying Three Kingdoms, and I was like, once they've added like Korea, Mongolia, like they said they would, or were hinting at, like I'll actually probably enjoy this as a dumb, derpy, gimmicky Total War, because it'll have nice variety of cultures and fun things to explore. And they did
and
this.
what happened, Kyle, when you were like, I'm optimistic and positive? What exact kind of genitalia did they insert into that little hopeful mouth of yours, huh?
The bad kind. The naughty kind. The thing
exactly.
is, like, the thing is, like, I was actually, as far, like, Total War Warhammer sucks. Like, I just can't enjoy it. This game is flawed, and I would not recommend it as it is. And I will now never recommend it, because it will never be anything more than what it is. It's
awful.
It's perpetually like an incomplete game. Because when they made the Princess DLC, it's like, okay, they made that DLC far out. That was a bad DLC in my opinion. But it's like, you got a sort of a time window. So this is going to cover the Three Kingdoms period, the beginning of the Three Kingdoms period, and all the way through it. That's actually really cool. And the fact that the characters have children, and those children actually turn out to be the actual characters of those respective characters, that's kind of cool. I like that. And then they just fucking dump it all. Like, it's just like, man, whatever. We're not going to continue to expand on Three Kingdoms. We're going to make Three Kingdoms 2, and it'll connect together like pieces of a puzzle. Because the Warhammer fans allowed this to happen, because they shut us down when we were trying to get mad at them over Total Warhammer 1, they've made this the standard. Warhammer fans coming into Total War have actually killed what little hope there was for Total War. Now we will be perpetually stuck with fucking iterative DLC and iterative fucking game additions to build on to what should have been the base game. Total Warhammer 2 is just a couple factions. Most of this stuff and mechanics were already done. There's very little difference between the two games. It's just a fucking faction pack. And they put a 2 on it, and people are stupid enough to buy that shit up. That's all Three Kingdoms 2 will be. They'll add Korea and Mongolia, and it'll just be like Three Kingdoms 2. But will it even touch up on the Three Kingdoms period? Because we're still not there.
Three Kingdoms 3.
That'll finally have Three Kingdoms in it. The worst part is Three Kingdoms now. The only thing they could argue about the Three Kingdoms thing is that you can get an event where that triggers, because you can play the game until it happens. But there is no start date for the Three Kingdoms yet, because they haven't gotten that far. It drives me insane.
And it's your fault. Now, Kyle, Kibbs, when are we getting a trailer for your game and lore?
Actually, I've been sharing some of the lore actually on our Discord server. A trailer though? Like, you make those to like, okay, look at all the gameplay together. Like, we're coming, like the game's pretty well like designed. We're just in the process of building the pieces together. It's the prototyping stage of game development, where it's like, okay, we want I'm designing right now a warfare mechanic. It's kind of like based on and inspired by tabletop war games, because I want there to be like an aspect. Mass Effect had that like, oh, this big battle thing, but it's just a cutscene. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if the players could actually play with those factions that joined the coalition or whatever? And so I wanted to do stuff like that. We're in the prototyping stage, the stage of, let's see if this works. Let's experiment a little bit and try something out of the box, and then find out it doesn't work, and then make course corrections. We're a ways away from the actual closed testing, but we do hope to have closed testing for those who have donated this year. Hopefully.
Chat points out that you're shilling again, and that's another hour of Dota. That's correct, chat.
This isn't how this works. I let him shill on my channel.
That is precisely how this works.
Look, no. Okay, Arch comes onto my channel. Yes. I shill ArchCast all the time. Like, you should check out the ArchCast on Saturday. You should check out his RPs. I've been shilling him for years. Yeah. I remember when you were like had 40k subs and we were friends. When you was just a little baby channel, just like, well, okay, you were still bigger than me, but you were like by 40 times.
Yeah, baby cow.
But I remember
that doesn't change the fact that Dota is owed again, Kyle. No doubt.
The baby barge.
You guys should do the rat RPG without Dev. That way, when Kibbs gets you all killed, you still have Dev to continue the game when new rats come in.
Thinking ahead.
Thinking ahead, indeed. No, we shall wait for little Dev. He's only had he's had to cancel once because he's a little bitch and can't plan properly. And the other time was E3, so he's a corporate shill, which is not a good thing. But I guess it's fine. As long as we can keep going after that, hopefully. Petty Planet and Missionary, Space Chickens, the best battle tech faction. It probably would have space chickens. It's a dumb little setting.
Who said the space chick? Which one of them said that?
No, you should be ashamed of your setting. It's a bad one.
It's not my setting, it's someone else's, but I enjoy it.
Oh. Be ashamed.
Battletech is the one thing that was never ruined for me yet. Leave it be dead the way it is. And it has canon cat girls in it. Those draft girls, though. Not a big fan of those.
That you're just trying to make something that awful sound a little bit better, despite knowing it's bad. I think that's bad, Kyle, and I think you should be ashamed of it. Kyle says, Arch, I've told Kibbs to try being a tomboy VTuber. That way he wouldn't need to change much, only use a voice app, and he get all the simps. Yes, but could Kyle pull off being a tomboy, though? Like, does he have the masculinity for that? I, for one, doubt it. And he has no counter argument. He simply accepted. He's like, oh yes, I am a little bit soft.
I'm sharing with chat what I think of Inner Sphere factions in chat. The only reason why Canopus became my favorite was because I found out they had cat girls. And I was like, okay, I'm dropping. Because before then it was the space Romans that were LARPing. I thought they were funny.
Steiner. Only True House. Catgirls also good, but Catgirls bred with Steiner better.
Steiner has big titties.
They do, and that is why you should enjoy them, like them, and touch the little fairy tales. Rightio, Evolved Potato, have you seen the game Pale World? It's basically an open world crafting Pokemon, but with guns, and you can... Oh, Pal World, not Pale World, Pal World. You can use the animal things as human shields and use them as actual slave labor. They also seem to have a great sense of humor. I did see a little bit of it. It does have a cool idea. Another game we should have a look at, too, is Icarus. That'll come out, I think...
That's the MMO, right?
No, Icarus, next month. Next couple of months. It's a survival crafting style game, but when you go down to the planet, you have sessions. So you've got, say, a week in this biome, a week in the ice biome, for example, where you need to explore a completely new biome, find the resources you need, and it's entirely PvE. So it's you and a bunch of friends doing the objectives, and then you leave to get back up to orbit,
What's the
where
name
you
of the
then
game?
use the Icarus.
Icarus. ICARUS game?
Yes, Icarus.
I'm trying to pull it up for chat. Just a second. That sounds actually really cool. Oh, let's look at the Steam page instead.
Yes. And then you use the resources to craft a tech tree, which can give you better stuff on the next time you're going down to the surface. Like, to me, that sounds really interesting, because one of the biggest issues with the survival crafting genre is you kind of end up bored with the exploring, and you don't have like a goal, an objective, something to drive you forward, and so you kind of just end up stagnating. In the case of Icarus, you'll have a new environment almost every session, and you'll have new objectives, you'll have a goal, you'll have a reason for doing things. That sounds really cool. Like, one time you're going to be a desert where you have to look for water, and you have to take care of overheating. Another time you'll be in an ice biome, and you'll have to look for the exact opposite shit, not getting too cold, etc.
And the PvE aspect is good. Honestly, survival games with PvP elements I've never really liked. That's why I liked Valheim a lot, and I can't wait for Valheim to be done in 5,000 years. but like, if you're doing a survival craft game, do it like Terraria, do it like Valheim, do it like, probably like Icarus. PvE, because then you can focus on it. The Forest is another good one. Because you can work together to try to survive against the elements. Then you can make the elements harder to deal with because you don't have to worry about PvP as a mechanic.
And yes, it is indeed coming out in 2 months. We'll definitely have to play that. We definitely will have to play that. Yes. And it's cheap. It's like $20 for the standard edition, which is pretty damn good. Apparently, so the way I understand it is they will release like new chapters for, I'm assuming, almost like DLC kind of thing, and they'll make like seasons out of it if I'm understanding it correctly. Now, if they do that model correct, I think it'll be really cool. Like 10, $20 tops for a completely new, fully handcrafted environment with new threats and dangers and stuff. I'd be willing to pay for that. But it depends on how good it is. Like if it's $20 for just a reskinned biome, less interesting. I have hope, though. I have hope. I have hope. In fact, I shall add it to my wish list right now. There you go.
But why?
Because I'm better than you.
Am I logged in? I am. I have no money in my wallet. I don't ever use the Steam wallet thing. It's like, why would I put money in?
And one final little super chat from Drag B. Kib, can we get a lore video on space chickens? When?
Far
Tomorrow.
Country is a bit. So this is kind of great. Far Country is the book that an author wrote for, I forget his name, for the BattleTech IP, because they pretty much let anybody write. Somehow his book got approved and was published and distributed, and it has aliens in it. Now the people who actually write BattleTech don't want aliens because the entire focus is it's human themed. It's about the cyclical nature of man and humans beating the shit out of each other with fucking mechs and technology. And aliens have no place in it. And so what they did is, like, because they don't decanonize books, so what they do is, like, it's not decanonized. It's technically canon, but no book or no other media is allowed to ever reference it, and aliens it'll never be spoken of again. So while they still kept to their word about not decanonizing stuff, they they don't let people make anything in reference to it. No jokes, because even like the BattleTech cartoon for kids that was made to sell toys, that is a canon propaganda piece released by the Lyran Commonwealth, House Steiner, to teach kids to hate clanners. So it's actually canon and lore as being an actual piece of propaganda.
Well, there you go.
But the chicken book is done.
A message from the chat. Do you ever plan to look into Atomic Heart? They ask. Me, not you, of course. Nobody asks you anything. A little bit. It's looked very cool. And it's been in development for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Maybe. It could be cool.
Hold on.
Now.
Wait.
No, I won't hold on,
One
Kyle.
more game.
No. Kyle?
Oh, I don't know. It's made by Slytherin. So Slytherin, you know Slytherin's making a Starship Troopers game, right? And they made a Battlestar Galactica game. They're making a Stargate game.
Color me uninterested.
Yeah, I'm not particularly... Like, I like Stargate. I don't think Arch likes Stargate. But, like, I don't know if I have confidence in Slytherin. Also, Slytherin, for whatever reason, doesn't get the music from the IP. Like, the Starship Troopers game doesn't have Starship Troopers music. The Stargate games trailer, I listened to this, actually. I saw this, Timekeepers. It didn't have... Like, when I listened to it, it didn't have Stargate music. Like, is it really that hard to be like, hey, can we use the music? Like, get the music from the show. Put the... If you can't get good music, just fucking use the music from the show. Don't try anything weird.
No. I utterly condemn every single Stargate thing that has ever existed. All of it. Condemn. There. Now that I put Kyle back in his rightful fucking place as a subservient little ferret thing.
Shut up.
Thank you all very much for watching. It has been a great fun time as always. And just because I know it'll make Kyle's little spine twirl in on itself, like, Subscribe.
No, like,
And
comment.
smash that like
You
button.
did it wrong. Like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to smash that bell button.
Be sure to smash that like button. There you go.
I heard a
Yes.
British person say it, and ever since then I hate British people.
Good for you. And Viking Kiwi sneaks one in at the end saying simply, no. Right. Have a good day, everyone. Good night.